forever. Um, so like I know how much it would mean to him to win one, but but I don't know. Like I just never. I wasn't a tournament player as much as I love the World Series brand and it's
Yeah.
like everything even to this day. Uh, I just yeah. So that the distractions of all that stuff was whatever. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, just as some reference for people, the 10K six max was I want to say like the day before the main started, or like
Yeah,
2 days before, something like that.
yeah,
So we talk a lot about like heaters and psychological, like buildups, whatever. Are you a proponent of like actual heaters in poker?
yeah. Definitely,
Okay,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It was just like the sequence was. I was in. So I had a live only staking deal from Tony because I was playing. Well, before I got sober at Aria, I was playing like the 2040 at Bellagio during Five Diamond.
I was there.
That's what
Yeah,
okay,
I
yeah.
saw you there.
Yeah, so, like, I was 40K in makeup from that trip, and then I had access to really big private games in Maryland, and I had a live only deal with him because the games were so big and my bankroll had shrunk down a bunch. Um, so I he had my this is a good story. He had my action for the World Series. I lost like 30 in the beginning of the World Series cash and tournaments. Then I got into a private game that was running around Paul Pierce. I was in the smaller game. This was 50, 100. They were playing 200, 400. I won like 60 or 70K in that game, and I was like out of makeup. This is when like the real heater starts. So I win 60 or 70K there. I get like 20th in the 3K six max. And the next tournament I play is the four-handed one. I get fifth in
Oh
that.
wow.
If I get fifth in that, Tony gets fourth in that. So that was sick. We were like both
Oh,
at the final five. And then the next tournament after that's 10K six max. I win. The next tournament after that's the main. So like the heater was just like unbelievable. Yeah, it's very very real. But I would say during the main, like I didn't. I was playing so free. Like all the spots just playing so free. Um, I remember I lost like a really really huge pot on day five to get down really really short. Like
like
everyone's
two
asking.
blinds, by the way, guys.
Yeah. So when that happened, like I feel like most people would be really crushed from that because like you're 135 people left in the main, you lose a 4 million chip pot. Back then, 4 million chips is way more than it would be now.
Sure, yeah.
Less chips in play, um, and I didn't really feel the disappointment because it's like, okay, well, I'm probably gonna cash for like 70K here. I made a deep run in the main. This was so much fun. Plus, I won a bracelet. Like, what else could I really ask for? And that type of outlook helps a lot. I'd say the the only thing that I really regret from all of it is like after I won, I really hated the attention, like hated it. And then the fact that I wasn't getting paid anything for it really pissed me off because the previous winners were getting compensated so
Sure.
much.
Free Black Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, so then I was expected to be like a certain type of uh like ambassador, but to get paid nothing for it.
Sure.
Where like I did a bunch of filming and stuff for different companies where I wasn't getting paid anything. And I just and like interviews and all this stuff. And obviously I was too young and naive to understand like kind of you can build your own brand, right? Because back then that wasn't much of a thing. And then the best thing that someone's that completely changed the way I looked at it all was Dan Smith. We were in Macau. It was just like the summer of 2013. We are in Macau for this huge tournament in Macau. It was like 5 million for first. It was during the World Series. Um, and he was like, why don't you just be like appreciative that you won the main event and not because somehow we were talking about this how like because at the time I was with Ivy's company and they weren't paying me anything. So it was so built into like if the company succeeds, then that'll be great for me. But I was doing a lot of like stuff for them
Mhm.
and it wasn't getting paid anything. Um, which I like me now, I would love to have that opportunity. If I did it all over again,
Yeah.
what I would snap sign with Ivy's company again and take the risk that like, okay, I might not get paid nothing, but if this has any chance of becoming Full Tilt 2.0, that's like, and I'm like one of the faces, I would take that.
Infinite money.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
take that over again, over like some guaranteed smaller
Sure.
contract. But I definitely had like a bitter side of just not. I just didn't want the attention or any of that stuff because I mean that's kind of the whole point. If you're a cash game player, especially if you're an online cash game player, you just want to be left alone, right? Like you don't really want anyone to know how much you're making or like you just want to be have your own like private life. And then that's just changed like completely overnight. And it just wasn't for me. It took me probably like close to a full year before I really started to like I'll be like, oh, this is cool. Like I get access to certain things, and I have access to certain people in the industry, and just like the legacy of what I did will always be there for my kids to see now that I have kids, and like, um, yeah, all that means a lot to me for sure. But I definitely went through like a stage of being very jaded by the whole thing because the last American that won before me was Joe Cotta. I believe he got like $1 million contract.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
on the
just like,
spot, I think.
yeah, it was like way way different, and that was only 3 years before I won, right?
Yeah.
So it just changed a lot. And like I ended up like the I ended up getting 100% rake back deal with WSOP, which was like my best. Yeah, yeah,
They didn't know how much they were
Wow.
paying you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Supernova Elite Elite.
yeah, 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 yeah. That was my. Yeah, I got that done. Yeah.
Well,
On the just going back to the run a little bit, so you cleared. Did you have? So I assume that Tony had some of your 10K action
Oh
then.
yeah, so yeah, that's the part of the story. That's the best part that I left out. So yeah, so
probably not the best of Tony, but all right.
no, so I played the six max, and like he would let me swap on the stake as well. So I think for the six max I had in the low to mid 40s percent. By the way, funny swap story from that. 18 left. Jason Mercier, probably best player in the world at that time in
Mhm.
tournaments.
Graceful.
He's like, "Hey, you want to swap? You want to swap?" With 18 left, we both have 20 bigs. I'm like, I mean, we know each other, but I'm like, he's like literally the best,
Yeah.
and he like I don't play tournaments. I'm like, sure, you want to swap two? He's like, no, that's too low, man. Let's swap five, and I'm like, oh shit, like, sure. And then we're at the same table. He snap bust, and then I win, and that's the only tournament we've ever swapped in ever. And I write him a check for like 55K or whatever it was.
I
But
got a Jason Mercier swap story too, and we
Ye-
only swapped in one, and he paid me, and we
Okay,
never
okay,
swapped since.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
probably worse for me. But
Yeah. So obviously, like, after that tournament, the main was the next day or 2 days after, and I remember leaving our house. I was living with Tony that summer, and he said, "You know, you don't have to give me your action for the main." And I told him, like, I told him you'd have my action for the whole World Series, so like, don't worry about it. It's just one tournament left. Just give me 60-40, and we'll keep the main on the stake because I mean, this guy taught me poker. Like
So
he
good.
took me to the next level. He got me into the biggest private game in the area where I was playing like basically 100, 200, 200, 400 equivalent in 2010 at like 23 years old. Like just the only reason I really like climbed like to the next level in poker was like because of him. And I thought back then there was a good 5, 6, 7 year run where he could have been considered like top three in the world in all the formats. Just like playing cash live, playing cash online, and live tournaments and online tournaments, just like W Coop, Scoop, fucking everything. He's got WPT title, WSOP bracelet. Like he was just filthy,
He has
right?
great posture as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
When
He was just filthy. And
when he
he,
occasionally slummed it at 10, 20, 40, he was also scary to play.
Yeah, okay,
Very
yeah.
scary. He's
So-
such a nice guy too. But all right, yeah.
Yeah, so to be able to like write him a check at the end of all that felt so good for me. And then uh I and then I had pieces of him in the coming years where he just like really crushed these tournaments, right? So like it's kind of just like I made him a bunch, he made me a bunch. And he's definitely up on me lifetime. But I mean, if you take your ultimate like mentor, someone that you looked up to so much, like I could never feel bad about writing that guy a big check because I would have never been nearly as good as I was if I wasn't living with him full time. Like we were living in DC together. I lived in his house with him in Maryland. We traveled everywhere together in Macau. We traveled Europe together. We lived in Vegas house together every summer. So just to have access to a mind like that for that many years just was like like a cheat code, Like some of the stuff we were doing pre-solver that ended up being like clearly right was mostly due to his thoughts, not really me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
So just curious now, like what is he up to now? I haven't seen him on the scene in quite a while.
So he actually lives in Hawaii.
I like it so far.
Hawaiian tone is what I call him. He lives in Kauai, which is a very small
Yeah.
island there. That's where they shot most of Jurassic Park.
That's right.
If you've never been, that gives you an idea of what it looks like. So he has a son who is almost one, and he's mostly trading the market.
Mhm.
And he also taught him. He's so good at poker. He taught himself how to play mixed games, and like did incredibly well during with that. He was coming to Vegas to play the mixed games during the summer, and I think it was 2 summers ago where a lot of the mix had gone private, where he could only really play bobbies. So he just played 3K, 6K, and bobbies. And like he's self-taught mixed player, had only been playing for a handful of years. He's just like one of the sharpest, brightest minds. Like if you wanted to still play poker, and even when he was playing, if he really wanted to be like, I want to be the best, he would have been the best. I mean, he's just so good. Yeah, so
Well,
good.
I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah, yeah.
More for the rest of us.
Yeah. So
I guess one last main event question before we move forward. We had Jesse on the pod. He hinted at a deal. Did you guys?
yeah, we chopped. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was really cool too, because I got 7.2, he got 6.6, and they don't facilitate.
I think.
So Vanessa Selps was his coach, and I didn't have a coach, but I just had like a rail of good poker players. So Christian came with me, Vanessa came with him, all four of us out back. I'm smoking a cig, I'm ripping a Red Bull, probably like the fourth Red Bull, ripping a cig. They got the cell phones out doing the math, and then we just handshake, and that's it. There's nothing in writing.
Love
There's
that.
nothing.
Yeah.
And then even better, I don't know if he told you this story, is that he probably didn't, but did he tell you the $1.3 million check story?
No.
No.
Okay, so that's really good. So then I'm not home for 3 weeks after I win, because I was with Best Bet Jacksonville, so I had to be there immediately after, regardless of how I did. So I was there for 5 days. Then I went to Miami for a few days. Then I went to my now wife. She was studying for med school in Syracuse, so I went to her place for 2 weeks. So I was gone for 3 weeks, and I mean, this was stupid of me, but I should have just wired him the money. But I had my parents send him a check. Well, the check never came because my parents' mail got stolen, which is so crazy. And it's the classic story of like, hey, the check's in the mail. The only reason my parents know that their mail got stolen is because their credit card bills didn't get paid, and they would like write checks for their credit card bills back then. So nothing. That's why they know it got stolen. So I'm telling him, I'm like, yeah, dude, we mailed it out last week. And then it's like another week goes by. I'm like, dude, it's on its way. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And then
How does mail work anyway?
That Greg Merson, what a scumbag.
Yeah. So then I ended up getting around the same time I had someone fake a check of mine. So I ended up getting a new bank account, and then wired him money. But like it took probably 2-3 weeks. And he's like, the whole time I'm like, yeah, it's coming. He's like, I owe him 1.3 million. Yeah.
He's just
Yeah, I know. He's like, hey, I need to pay out the guys that I swapped with. Like, what is this coming? Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't bring that up. Maybe he didn't
Coming,
want to.
just a handshake, buddy.
Yeah.
I didn't put anything in writing.
Yeah.